Man. Yeah, you still gotta go to jail. But we appreciate you though for grabbing the oil. Venezuela's ours. You fix the economy. You pretty much we don't gotta rely on foreign influence on our bonds no more. Oh, but I appreciate that. But if you are guilty of pedophilia, you gotta go to jail.
Yeah.
Term mechanism both to stabilize the country, but also to make sure that the oil proceeds that are currently being generated through the licenses will now begin to issue on the sanctioned oil goes to the benefit of the Venezuelan people, not to fund the system that existed in the past. The second is a period of recovery. And that is the phase in which you want to see a normalized oil industry. Again, look, we've got plenty of oil. There's plenty of oil all over the world. Canada produces heavy crude, so it's not like Venezuela's oil is unique in that regard, despite the fact they have the largest known reserves in the world. It's not irreplaceable. But we understand that that is the lifeline. Their natural resources are going to allow Venezuela to be stable and prosperous moving forward. And so we've created what we hope to do is transition to a mechanism that allows that to be sold in a normal way, a normal oil industry, not one dominated by cronies, not one dominated by graft and corruption. To that end, the authorities there deserve some credit. They have passed a new hydrocarbon law that basically eradicates many of the Chavez era restrictions on private investment in the oil industry. It probably doesn't go far enough to attract sufficient investment, but it's a big step from where they were 3 weeks ago. So that's a major change. We can address some of the other components, but I'll run out of time. But one of the parts of the transition phase or the recovery phase is beginning to create space for different voices inside of Venezuelan politics to have an ability to speak out. Part of that is the release of political prisoners. By some estimates, up to 2,000. They are releasing them. They are releasing them probably slower than I would like them to, but they are releasing them. And in fact, you're starting to see some of the people being released beginning to speak out and participate in political life in the country. We have a long ways to go. Look, we can talk in more detail about all of these things. Suffice it to say, I'm not here to claim to you this is going to be easy or simple. I am saying that in 3.5, almost 4 weeks, we are much further along on this project than we thought we would be, given the complexities of it going into it. And I recognize that it won't be easy. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we are dealing with people over there that have spent most of their lives living in a gangster paradise. So it's not going to be like from one day to the next, we're going to have this thing turn around overnight. But I think we're making good and decent progress. It is the best plan, and we are certainly better off today in Venezuela than we were 4 weeks ago. And I think and hope and expect that we'll be better off in 3 months, and 6 months, and 9 months than we would have been had Maduro still been there. So thank you.
Chairman, thank you, Mr. Secretary Rubio, for being here. So some of the comments from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are difficult to square with the record. The goalposts didn't move, nor did Maduro change. The only thing that changed was President Trump acted on what members of both parties said needed to happen. And did so, by the way, with an operation that will go down in history as one of the most impressive and tactically proficient to be ever carried out. So, Secretary Rubio, I'd like to get your response to a few yes or no questions. I know that's typically not your nature, but please bear with me here a moment, okay?
All right, let's hear them first. I hate game shows. Go ahead.
For years, the United States had a standing bounty on Nicolas Maduro, correct?
Have what, I'm sorry?
A standing bounty on Nicolas Maduro.
Oh, yes.
And that this bounty was increased by both the Biden and Trump administrations, correct?
Correct.
And despite that bounty, did Maduro remain in power?
Yes.
Did he continue to support drug traffickers?
Oh, yes.
Was Operation Absolute Resolve a law enforcement operation supported by the military?
It was.
Did that operation successfully remove Maduro and his wife, and they were taken into custody?
Yes. Great questions.
Thanks. Were any service members, law enforcement officers killed in that operation?
No. Not any of ours.
None of ours, right? Has there largely been a broad support across Latin America for Maduro's removal?
I mean, well,
not any of ours.
Well, not our guys, but I'll tell you right now, but we got 100 dead Venezuelan soldiers and 32 Cuban ones. So, yeah, if you want to count them, sure, but not us.
America was in no harm.
Like, no American was harmed in this operation.
Yes.
And is the United States better off
emphasis on America
with Nicolas Maduro in custody?
Yes, and Venezuela too.
Right. I realize that you'll hear differing views during this hearing, but I want to at least offer my personal congratulations to you and everybody who helped carry this out, because the world is better off without Nicolas Maduro. A few weeks ago, you briefed the Senate on your three-phase plan. You've been talking about it here today on stabilization, recovery, and the transition in Venezuela. Is there anything this Congress can do to be helpful in executing on that plan?
There will be in time. There's no doubt about it. On the stabilization front, in order to stabilize it, for example, we're going to have to begin to provide some licenses through OFAC. So as an example, if a company wants to go down and explore the opportunity to do some economic activity in Venezuela, they will require a license.
Hey, and shout out to my man Jordan, sent the 5 in just to say my Bartle do, his favorite saying at this point. You know what? I'm just going to accept it. Bartle do.
Treasury to be able to do that. And so that doesn't require congressional action, but I wanted you to be aware of it when you start to see some of these things. Some of these are just exploratory. The second is, I think in time, look, Venezuela is a very wealthy country. This is not a country that's going to require money from the United States to rebuild, to stabilize, to transition. It really isn't. It has the ability to be, and it has been historically, the wealthiest country in the Western Hemisphere, in Latin and South America, in many cases. The problem is that the wealth of the country was being stolen. And so part of both the recovery and the transition phase is ensuring that you leave in place a prosperous, free, democratic, allied with the United States and friendly, but also prosperous Venezuela, where the resources of the country are being done responsibly, are being utilized responsibly and to the benefit of the people and their economy. So in time, I imagine we will be coming back to you with specific legislation that may be required to assist in that function. But we don't expect that this is going to require any spending on our part. On the contrary, unlike many of the other parts of the world we've gotten involved, Venezuela we're not spending any money in Venezuela right now other than whatever it costs to stand up our embassy.
Let me switch gears, Johnny, a little bit. One of the common criticisms after Maduro's capture was that this would incentivize communist China to take similar actions in Taiwan. In my opinion, this couldn't be further from the truth. For starters, communist China doesn't care about international law or norms. They've demonstrated that repeatedly. Just ask the Philippines. Nor does it believe in international law, even applies to Taiwan. But most importantly, Xi Jinping's calculus on whether to take kinetic action against Taiwan rests solely on whether or not he believes he will be successful or not. In this sense, the tactical proficiency displayed during Operation Absolute Resolve may have actually given Xi more pause to take than in taking action in Taiwan. Because despite its massive military buildup, the PLA continues to lack the experience so clearly on display that the United States demonstrated in Maduro's capture. And the PLA leaders that do have combat experience, like General Zhang, just got purged, or at least one of them did. So, Secretary Rubio, do you believe that the operation to take Maduro into custody?
I remember we just covered that on how one of China's generals just got purged, General Zhang. Yeah, that's who we were talking about in this little video right
Something big is about to happen in China. President Trump and NATO have openly confirmed that a civil conflict is brewing inside the Chinese Communist Party's own military. According to internal CIA intelligence, Zhang Yuxia, one of China's most powerful generals and second only to Xi Jinping himself, has been detained over allegations that he leaked China's nuclear weapons intelligence to the United States. But that is not all. Zhang is also accused of plotting to overthrow Xi Jinping and the Communist Party in order to seize power for himself. The twist is this: the generals under Zhang's command are openly defying Xi's decision. They have made their position clear. If Xi does not release Zhang Yuxia, they are prepared to break away from China entirely and fight to the very end. Meanwhile, the United States has confirmed imminent changes to its military deployment across the Indo-Pacific. The truth is, Washington sees an opportunity, and it intends to exploit the chaos. In fact, this could be a once-in-a-century moment for the United States, a historic chance to finally cripple its greatest rival while the system fractures from within. Right now, the Chinese Communist Party is in complete chaos, and at this point, anything can happen.
And that's what they were talking about.
Will have any impact on Communist China's actions or intentions toward Taiwan?
No, look, the situation on Taiwan is a Xi legacy project that he's made very clear that that's what he intends to do. Yeah. And that's going to be irrespective of anything that happens in the world. Your point, though, is well taken, and that is the U.S. in conducting this operation, I think, was certainly startling to China, to Russia, to Iran.
And remember, Xi went to Biden and told Biden to his face that he plans on taking Taiwan. So, yeah, we've been knew what Xi wanted to do.
To any adversary around the world, because the U.S. is the only country in the world, in the world that could have done this operation.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just real briefly, I just mentioned General Zhang getting purged here. He was obviously a very important official in China. Can you share with us just your assessment on what that means that she just purged one of these?
Well, this is, I think, part of a pattern we've seen over the last few years, which is a purge of leaders in their military. They're spending a lot of money on their military, and obviously some of these guys are stealing that money, and they're trying to address that. So it's an issue internally in their system. They're obviously not sharing with us or talking to us in depth about any of that, but it's certainly something we watch with interest.
Thank you. I'm pleased that we are looking at a diplomatic presence in Venezuela in the near future. I think that's very important. But the DEA has reportedly identified Delcy Rodriguez as a significant actor in the drug trade. Do you agree with that? And
well, I do. I mean, I'll be real with you. She was working right there with Maduro, but we made a deal. Obviously, she's the one who gave us the drop on Maduro, so that's why she's in power still. And she knows how to talk well to the regime. So she's the best spokesman between, the Maduro regime and, well, the ex-Maduro regime and the Trump administration. Just the best. It's best to keep it like that until next elections.
if you do, how are we to assure the American people that the money that's going to Venezuela is not going to any of the cartels or drug running?
Yeah, and well, first of all,
I mean, because Trump already made that promise. He's like, look, we're not gonna kidnap you in the night like Maduro. Well, he pretty much said we'll just bomb him. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why they're not gonna betray us. Because I mean, who wants to just get bombed? Nobody wants that for themselves.
On the first point, I would say she's not indicted the way Maduro and his wife were. So I'm not going to speculate about newspaper articles and what law enforcement is working on. If in fact there were such an investigation, that's something that we would speculate on. Suffice it to say that this was not a normal system. We all should stipulate to that, okay? That regime, as everyone understood, was held together by corruption. The glue that kept people together was not loyalty to Maduro. It was the fact that these 5 guys had 5 separate oil fields that were assigned to them. These people had drug routes.
I understand that.
So that's going to be
I'm not defending the regime. In fact, I'm concerned that we haven't really changed the regime enough, and that America's dollars are still going to drug runners and to significant.
Yeah, look, I had that same concern as well until I found out that they've pretty much been working with the Trump administration. They're giving over their oil and access to their resources. So trust me, I had the same concerns as well, lady. But the way it seems right now is that, yeah, we took Maduro, we left this VP, but it seems like the VP might have been the one that sold out Maduro since she's working oh so well with us. Now, that may change, but right now she's playing ball. And shout out to Toe. She said, this is enough for conspiracy hour. Why not, Toe? Why not? And also, shoot, did you have a special video you want me to do, or did you want me to choose? Because I do have a Y-Files video that we can always watch.
Anunnaki.
Organizations who we don't want to have benefit from the funding that we're selling now of oil and providing to the Venezuelan government.
Look, I acknowledge that we are dealing with, I told you, with individuals that have been involved in things that in our system would not be acceptable, to us in the long term. By no means is our policy to leave in place something permanent that's as corrupt as you've described. We are in the transition and stabilization phase. We are just acknowledging reality, and that is you have to work with the people that are in charge of the elements of government.
Okay, but
now what are the
and I would tell her this. I'm like, lady, look, we gotta be delicate with this. There's literally people, militias, citizen militia groups in the streets right now with guns talking about bring Maduro back. I'm sorry, but we just can't take out the entire government when these are literally the only people these people are willing to listen to and stand down.
Let me put a pause. Let me put a pause on that for a second.
Go.
Why is this a public hearing if she's going to ask questions like that? We want to maintain trust with her, with the Venezuelan government as it stands right now, so that we can later on get a different government in power. Why is she basically asking him to say, yeah, we want her too, we're just not going to do it yet?
He's like, bro, how reckless that would be. All right, way to put her on guard, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Dang, do you not know what diplomacy is? Look, man, we got to work with dictators. We work with dictators. We work with, supreme leaders. We work with kings. I mean, come on now, guys. We got to be real with ourselves. Look, as long as it's not happening in the U.S., we're good.
This is the type of person that asks the question, why aren't we just going and installing freedom everywhere? Our military ain't that big.
And I'm like, didn't y'all want this?
That is exactly what they want. And that's what they said that Trump would do. And now that he's not doing it, they're asking why he's not doing it. I'm so confused, man. I'm so confused.
Assure people that
So
money
the way
is not going,
so
continuing to go to the drug cartels?
right. So that's the process that I outlined to you. So on the sanctioned oil, the oil that requires U.S. permission to move, that oil, the proceeds of that oil, which by the way is being sold at market price, not at the discount Venezuela was being forced to sell, is being deposited into an account that ultimately will become a U.S. Treasury blocked account here in the United States. They will submit, we will at the front end say, this is what this money can be spent on these things. We will submit to them. They will submit to us a budget request. We want to use this money for these things. And part of the proceeds will go to fund a audit process to make sure that that's how the money is being spent.
So
and that's how we intend to handle those funds in the short term.
There's an actual audit process that's been set up. Who is
It will be set up, and we have a couple options. One option is the XM Bank. They have expertise as bankers and being able to do some of that option. There may be some others in place. We haven't finalized what that audit process would be. We've only made one payment, and that payment we did, and retrospectively will be audited. But it was important we made that payment because they had to meet payroll. They had to keep sanitation workers, police officers, government workers on staff. It was a $300 million payment.
Right. So it's been reported that the oil sold for $500 million, that $300 million went to Venezuelan government. What happened to the other $200 million?
It's still sitting in the account, is my understanding at this time.
The account in Qatar?
Well, the account, yes, but that will ultimately be that's a short-term account. Ultimately, will be a usual.
No, and which is grimy, bro. That's grimy as hell how we did them. The only reason why we put it in Qatar, and it's not because, to scam the American people or the Venezuelan people. No, it's to scam the creditors of Venezuela, which is China and Russia. Yeah, mainly those two. They can't collect their debt.
We moved it. Yeah, we moved it out of Venezuela so that China couldn't go collect on their debts.
Yeah, like the accounts that they have access to collect on their debt, we've emptied them and moved it to Qatar.
And go ahead and
like,
Qatar,
hey,
China.
yo. I go live. I was China or Russia. You know how mad I'd be. I'd be like, bro, they owe us like $300 billion. You tell me I can't get it? Like,
yes, fuck you. We're not
they
your
gave
friends.
it to the cowheads in Qatar. What do you mean? Like, bro, I'd have been so
We're not
pissed.
your friends. We're not here to collect a debt for you. We're here to stabilize the Western Hemisphere on our behalf.
And once again,
China, I don't mind that China. I don't mind that China is, going a little hungry tonight. Maybe they'll oust their leader, like what's happening right now. Oh my goodness, it's almost like this was by design.
Man,
maybe Russia will stop invading Ukraine because they're running out of money. Maybe all of these things will be solved. Whoa!
But let's not forget who the real MVP of this is. Shout out to Qatar.
U.S. Treasury blocked account in the United States.
And will it also be audited?
Correct. Well,
and shout out to she said probably asked that on purpose. Yeah, most likely they're trying to catch him up.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean it's about they're trying to. The way I see it, the way these questions are posed, they're trying to get rid of the Trump administration's legitimacy in diplomatic relations, and that's treasonous, is what that is.
Facts.
Audit will be on the expenditures. At the front end, we'll tell them this is what the money can be spent on. Again, I'm not talking about all the other revenues the Venezuelan government may have. We're talking about the revenues from the sanctioned oil. At the front end, we will say this is what the allowable expenses are. And then they will agree to fund as part of the overall cost. They will pay for and fund an audit system acceptable to us to ensure that that's how the money was spent.
And can you report to this committee once that audit system is set up?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd like to change the topic.
I mean, yeah, you can't fund cartels or fund foreign governments if we run your books. It's like, yeah, we control your accounting. We do your auditing. I mean, if a penny moves out of place, it's going to be trouble.
Yep.
In my short time that I have left, because when you were a member of this committee, you authored legislation to prevent President Trump from unilaterally leaving NATO, you and Senator Kaine. Do you still believe that the U.S. benefits from NATO?
We do. I mean, but NATO needs to be reimagined as well in terms of the obligations. And this is not new to this president. Multiple presidents have complained about it.
I
think this president just complains about it louder than other presidents.
Well, I'm just trying to be clear, get a clear answer on where this administration stands relative to NATO, because it's been a very fuzzy message over the last year. And do you agree that we're stronger in confronting China when we do so with like-minded partners, and that China is still the number one threat that we face in the United States.
Yeah, but our like-minded partners have to have capability. And that's been part of the problem, is the erosion in European defense capabilities, because they've taken vast amount of the monies that these are rich countries. And because of the NATO umbrella, they gave them the flexibility to spend a tremendous amount of their revenues on social programs and not on defense. Now, maybe that trend line will begin to change.
Well, it's already begun to change, frankly, and thanks. And I think the president deserves credit for that.
Yeah, but look, should it change in the point where either everybody can afford universal health care or nobody? Because, I mean, if we all paid the same for our military, trust me, like, that universal health care in your favorite country is gone. Well, European country.
It's almost as if the United States has just decided that we're not going to give everybody free health care by way of making everything else that runs their country and keeps their country afloat and keeps their country safe is done at a discounted rate. If you can afford universal health care, you can afford to defend your country, which is what the nation, or which is what a country's responsibility is to its citizens, not to give them free fucking Botox.
Yep. And it is a bit unfair. It's like, so, and here's the thing, it's like we do it for people who really don't like us at all whatsoever. Actually, they talk shit about the fact that we do provide for their health care. So why did the American people stop doing it? Especially, since, every time we don't pull up to a foreign country, we're not called Daddy American. I mean, we're out here providing health care. I feel like we deserve some respect.
Yeah. Our people would like free health care.
And if not, I would like global respect, since we paying for y'all health care.
That there is now a commitment for 5% of GDP to be spent on defense. But part of that strength also comes not just from having the mechanism, the military might, but it also comes from the unity with our allies. And to the extent to which that unity is undermined, like the talk about Greenland and antagonizing Denmark, then it undermines NATO's ability. And the only people who are excited about that are Vladimir Putin and President Xi.
Yeah. Well, I would say.
So once again, you're crying about, okay, well, because we took Venezuela, then that means what? Russia's going to take Ukraine, which they're already doing, by the way, and which you guys are failing to handle. But for some reason, you guys diverted attention to Greenland, but we thought Ukraine was y'all problem. And then, hold on, you're tripping on us about us hemisphere tripping, but you guys were just crying over a territory that's not yours. Not yours. But you're over here tripping about territory that we want in our hemisphere.
Okay. We've been trying to get Greenland since the 1800s, for the record.
Monty, like I said, bro, as soon as we start set tripping, we tripping, bro. Makes no sense.
That I think our alliances in NATO ultimately are something that's going to work out. Our partners understand.
Oh, and shout out to my man Jed. He says it's what happens when a president is, well, what my bad. It's what happens when a businessman is president. And ain't that the truth? He makes smart business moves. Let's see here. She says, oh, he said here. She says, broadening and full on treason is what they are great at. Oh, wow.
Bordering on, not broadening.
Sorry. Bordering and full on treason is what they are great at. Well, remember the Seditious Six or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
That was
Mark Kelly.
Yep. And it was pretty much saying, what you mean? We weren't trying to provoke them or inform them that they should just disobey laws or entice them to. It's like, I'm gonna be real with you. That's kind of what y'all did. Y'all kind of sat there and said, ignore your higher ups. Ignore the structure of what the military goes.
Remember, murder is illegal, Set.
I mean, yeah.
Like that,
but we're talking about military.
That was the argument. That was the argument that Democrats made. Is like, oh, well, yeah, ignoring unlawful orders is their thing. Yet, why are you saying that? I don't think Set's going out to murder, so why would I tell Set that murdering people is illegal? Like, it's fucking ridiculous. It's like, on its face, sure, yeah, you have a responsibility to ignore unlawful orders. Why are you saying that? We know that. We're informed of that every time we reaffirm our enlistment. Why is that now a thing? Oh, is it because you're trying to insinuate that Trump is giving unlawful orders? Okay, what order has he given that's unlawful? Oh, none? So why are you trying to cause a mutiny?
Yeah, they was never able to answer that question. Like I said, it's like, what lawful order? If you're going to sit there and say it, then please have an example, because if not, this does sound like sedition.
importance of the U.S. presence in NATO. Without the U.S., there is no NATO. And we understand that in order for NATO to be stronger, our partners need to be stronger. And one of the things we've explained to our allies in NATO is the United States is not simply focused on Europe. We also have defense needs in the Western Hemisphere. We have defense needs in the Indo-Pacific, and it will require us.
Right.
We may be the richest country in the world, but we don't have unlimited resources. And as we reassign
exactly why we want to have allies and partners to help us as we're looking at conflicts
No
around the
one's
world.
saying we
And
don't.
when we antagonize our allies and partners, and when we send Canada to do a trade deal with China instead of coming to New Hampshire or the United States, it weakens our ability to confront our adversaries.
Yeah, but our allies have to be two things. They have to be willing to step up, but they also have to be capable of stepping up. And frankly, many of them have not. I mean, Spain is still not doing the 5%. I mean, there are countries that are still not doing. And in fact, Mark Rutte yesterday pointed out that if without the United States, the countries of Europe would have to spend 10% of their GDP for the next 20 years to be able to make up the whole. So I do think there needs to be a rebalancing, and hopefully we'll have cooperation. I think we will. Rutte has done a great job of managing all.
And I'm not arguing that point with you. As I said, I agree with what the president has asked of our European allies. What I'm arguing with you about is that his rhetoric is undermining NATO and our partnerships with our allies, and that's a problem. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Shaheen. Senator Ricketts.
He said after that meeting, we're talking to her and maybe we can get her involved in some way. I'd love to be able to do that. Maybe we can do that. We'll set the terms for this Nobel Prize winner having a leadership role. Last question is this. You talked about the speech in Davos. Here's something the president said in Davos. I'm helping NATO until the last few days. When I told them about Iceland, they loved me. They're not here for us.
Oh, and shout out to the lunatic libertarian. He says all centralized systems are failed. Trump is a moron. Well, damn, all right. I like where he's coming from with this. He says, and shout out to lunatic libertarian. He says, rich how? 40 trillion in debt and borrowing every day. Hold on now. 38 trillion, not too much of a difference, but 2 trillion sometimes do make a difference when we talk about trillions of dollars. But no, you're right. He's right. We are basically at $40 trillion in debt. So to call us a rich nation, well, I mean, in comparison to other guys, well, what can I say? What, we're the cleanest shirt in a dirty hamper?
No, so that's a very knowing anything about economics and saying that, oh, we're $40 trillion in debt. This is the fucking pinnacle of horrificness. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? The entire world's economy is built on debt owed to everybody else. Nobody. We talk about our $40 trillion in debt. Do you talk about the $31 trillion GDP that we move a year? Like think about it this way. When you owe $100,000 on your house and you make $80,000 a year, you're not exactly poor.
Now, oh yeah, and Tove, I went ahead and opened up the call-in line, so you can go ahead and go to the main page. You'll see it in the post tab.
But like, I hate people that, we're $40 trillion in debt and we're spending money every single day. Yeah, who do you think we owe that debt to?
Shoot, and lunatic libertarian, why don't you come up? Because I would actually love to hear your position on this.
I think that would actually be a good discussion with actual productive conversation instead of Trump's a dictator. But it is, who do you think we owe that debt to, and why do you think we're making the moves that we're making? If you devalue our currency, drop interest rates, refinance our debt, yeah, sure, you're going to get $40 trillion in monopoly money.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's flipping the whole financial system, our financial system, on his head and kind of reorganizing it. Because, like I said, you're right. We were pretty much we're running on debt, on foreign bought debt.
Yes, and that's not good. That I agree with that point. That's not good. However, weaken the bond markets. Like it's like saying, I'm $100 in debt, and the lunatic libertarian owes me $100, and the debt that I owe you $100 set, and you own the lunatic libertarian $100. So you give the lunatic libertarian his $100, he gives me the $100 he owes me, and I give you the $100 I owe you.
But all right, now a shout out to lunatic libertarian says, let me on stage, I'll tell you. All right, no problem. But all right, now let's go ahead and let in Tove and Gaming so far. These guys are in the backstage.
Hop on up here, Libertarian.
What's up, boy?
And you're already echoing.
It's my damn headphones. Give me a second. I gotta turn them off.
Got you. All righty, but in the meantime, though, let's go ahead and wait for our lunatic libertarian.
Iceland,
What up,
that I can
sluts?
tell you. Our stock
Except for
market took
Tove.
the first dip yesterday because of Iceland. So Iceland has already cost us a lot of money. President repeatedly mistook
Did you say Iceland?
Pause. Yes, he did. Pause. I don't care that he mistook Greenland for Iceland. Fucking President Obama said that there were 57 states in the United States. I don't want to hear it.
Bro, no. Why
There's presidents that misstep and misspeak all the time. And if you're going to harp on that, then you're just you're reaching.
Cost us a lot of money. President repeatedly mistook Iceland for Greenland, right? We're not mad at Iceland. They haven't cost us any money. The president just mistook the two countries for each other, correct?
Yeah, he meant to say Greenland, but I think we're all familiar with presidents that have verbal stumbles.
Yep.
We've had presidents like that before. Some made a lot more than this one.
Nice try. Thanks.
All right, thank you. I thought he did well.
Well, he took his glasses off. Hey, man, I pissed him off.
We've had presidents like that before. Some made a lot more than this one.
Nice try. Thanks.
All right, thank you. I thought he did well. Let's see. We got Senator.
Do you know how easy
Hey.
it is to mistake?
Hey,
Yo, well, one mic at a time, guys. Come on, let's go. All right, Tove, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, do you know how easy it is to mistake Greenland and Iceland? Iceland is more green than Greenland, and Greenland's more ice.
It was
If I
done
remember
that way on
correctly.
purpose.
Yeah.
It was the
Yes.
Vikings or whatever called Greenland so that all of their conquerors and stuff would go to the ice forsaken country and call Iceland the Iceland Greenland, or sorry, the other way around. The country with all the ice is called Greenland, and the country with all the green is called Iceland, and they did that on purpose to mistake any attackers.
Yeah,
I know, but what I'm saying is that it's so many people mix them up all the time. So for a president to do it when normal people do it on a regular basis is a little,